Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Gabbin with Gavin. I'm your host, Gavin Broniker. This past weekend, the Bellarmine baseball team faced off against the University of North Florida, and they were able to win all three of those games. One of the large reasons of that was our ASUN Baseball Player of the Week, Will Aubel. I'm sitting down with Will this week to talk a little bit about the team's success as well as his own.
Fly ball into right field. It'll get down for a base hit. They'll send Rowalds. The throw is offline, and it's an RBI single, and Will Aubel just continues to hit the ball extremely well.
All right, Will. It's nice to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So this past weekend, you guys were able to have a little bit of success, went 3-0. Bats kind of broke out. Can you talk about what that means to the team going forward?
Yeah, I think it gives us a lot of momentum going forward into the next few weekends, conference weekends. Austin Peay this weekend's a tough opponent, especially playing them at their place. So I think that having the bats rolling a little bit is definitely going to help.
Mm-hmm. At the beginning of the year, things weren't necessarily clicking the way that you guys would particularly like, and it was kind of a mixture of things, offense, defense, pitching. But lately we've started to see a little bit of a trend with the team where the bats have started to get rolling. Is that something that you think that just as you guys get more at-bats, it just kind of starts clicking a little bit more?
Yeah, I think it was more along the lines of everybody doing it at the same time and being in the right spot at the right time. I think at the beginning of the year, guys were having their games. Certain guys, like 2 or 3 guys, would have their games where they'd play really well and other guys wouldn't. But I think I'll give Mingo and Coach a lot of credit where he put us in the right position and he put us in the right spots in the lineup to where things just started to really roll.
Mm-hmm. And I think that one of the good strengths that this team has seen recently is that it's kind of up and down the lineup. It's not just the top guys. I mean, the top guys are certainly pulling their weight right now with you and Sorg and Scales kind of being hot right now. But the bottom of the lineup is certainly contributing. How much does that play into a winning recipe?
Yeah, I mean, on every winning team that I've ever been on, the bottom of the lineup is kind of the one that I don't want to say sets the tone, but kind of puts the team in the best position to win. I think that when you have the bottom of the lineup rolling and whenever they start to hit a little bit and get on base, then that kind of trickles over into the top of the lineup and allows the people at the top of the lineup to be successful. And it kind of allows them to kind of get in their groove, makes them a little bit more comfortable. So like guys like Brady Willis and Brady Morse was hitting down there for a little bit. He bumped up in the lineup. He's been doing really well. I think that those type of guys that are just getting on base and allowing us to do our thing whenever the lineup rolls over has been great.
It also makes it hard to they talk about alleys and pitching. It's hard to find a place where you can kind of settle in, take your breath. Just kind of puts a lot of pressure on the pitcher at all times, and I think that's been pretty helpful for the team for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a guy at the bottom of the lineup, every team's got a guy every game. It could be the leadoff batter, it could be the 7-hole that's not having their best at-bats in the game. But whenever you have guys that are consistently getting 2 to 3, maybe even 4 quality at-bats up and down the lineup, I mean, it's just huge for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So recently, on a personal level, you were able to win the Player of the Week. You only got out 4 times in a whole week, which is kind of unheard of. Just video game numbers. They talk about in baseball, like it's a saying, the ball kind of looks like a beach ball. Is that kind of what you were experiencing, or is it just kind of putting good swings on good pitches and down the hole?
I started to think about that a little bit whenever Saturday rolled around. I was kind of like, I had a few hits on the Tuesday game against Moorhead, and I had a decent game against, who was it? North Florida on Friday. And then whenever Saturday rolled around, I kind of thought about it, and I was like, am I just seeing it well, or am I finally just starting to put things together a little bit? And obviously, I think it was a little bit of both. I thought I was seeing the ball really well. I think one of my weaknesses in the past has been getting myself out, swinging at pitches that weren't in my area. I think that I've really kind of grown into that aspect of I know what I need to hunt, I know what I need to hit, and everything else I can just leave. And I think another thing that really helped me was having Mingo work on me with my two-strike approach. My two-strike approach, I think, was has been huge for me, not only me, for everybody. I think, I don't know how many hits I had with two strikes in the past few days, but I think, just having good bat-to-ball presence in the box has been really beneficial for me.
Yeah, especially for a guy like you who utilizes his speed so much in his game. There's not always going to be that look to just kind of get the ball in the air and try to see if it goes. You're just kind of, I think that was one thing that you've been doing recently, just from an outside perspective, hitting the ball to all sorts of parts of the field and then just trying to make the defense make plays and then finding holes. And that's kind of been big, utilizing that speed aspect. And on top of your performance at the offensive side, you've also had 3 stolen bases in that past weekend. Can you talk about what stealing a base does for a team and what you enjoy so much about it?
Yeah, so I've never really hit in the leadoff spot. I did a few games last year, I think maybe like 3 or 4. Didn't really do that well, but over the past 2 weeks when I've kind of taken on that role, I kind of thought about what I need to do. As a leadoff guy, I'm not trying to hit home runs. I mean, if I hit a double once in a while, cool, whatever, cool. But, my job is to get on base, whether that be reaching base on an error, walking, getting hit, or getting a base hit, that's kind of like where I need to be. And I think that if I can get on second base with 1 out, or nobody out even, I have Sorg and Reed and Scales, and then whoever follows up after them to try to get me home.
Yeah.
And those are 3 just guys that just know how to hit. So, stealing bases is, I think, one of the more underrated things in baseball, and I think it's kind of like starting to wake up a little bit now, especially in Major League Baseball. But stealing bases is huge for the team because you put yourself in a good spot to score runs, and you put yourself in a spot for to have other people be successful.
Yeah. And then kind of going back, once again, it puts pressure on the pitcher, and I think that's kind of an underrated aspect as well. It's kind of hard to pitch whenever you have those pressure pitches going on.
Exactly.
So I think that is certainly beneficial. So we've mentioned a little bit, the struggles early on, but with this past success, do you think that can kind of be a catalyst for the team going forward? And obviously you mentioned that Austin P matchup. That's a team that has had quite a bit of success on this season, faced some pretty good teams and come away with wins in those. What's kind of the mindset going into that weekend?
Yeah, we know they're going to be a good team. We know they're a good offensive team. We know that their bullpen's pretty good. But, I mean, with the success that we had, even against Jacksonville the weekend before, we hit the ball really well. North Florida's, I think he pitched on Saturday. That guy, he coming into the game, he had like a sub-1 ERA.
Yeah, I think their Saturday and Sunday guys both had sub-2 ERAs, which is
exactly.
Really
and I think one thing that I'll give credit to our team is we don't really care who we're facing.
Yeah.
We know what we need to do as an offense. We know what pitches we need to hunt. We know when to swing, when not to swing. And I think everybody's kind of accepted their role for the most part. I think a good majority of the guys have been like, okay, this is what I need to do, whether it be get on base like myself, whether it be Sorgi, Reed, and Scales driving in runs, and then the bottom of the lineup just doing their thing. I think it's a really good thing that we're swinging it the way we are, and I think we have a little bit more confidence going into the game. And I think we gave our pitchers a lot of confidence too, because they might not always have their best stuff every game, but that kind of gives them a little bit more comfortability knowing that we're going to come in and we're going to score runs no matter what.
For sure.
Whether it be the first inning, whether it be the 9th inning, we're going to put pressure on the other team to make pitches and for them to swing the bat as well.
Yeah. I think one thing that some people may have worried about, even on the team, outside of the team, looking at it, with 30-ish new guys, there was a little bit of a question mark as to how guys were going to adapt. Some guys never playing at the Division I level, and then obviously, the younger guys. As a veteran presence who's been at this Division I level now for 4 years, can you talk about what that role means to you and how you can kind of utilize that to help these other guys feel comfortable in these games and situations?
Yeah, so I was talking to Brady Willis a little bit. He's a I don't know if he took his red shirt last year. I know he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Played a little bit last year. He's starting to play a lot more now.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to him a little bit, just being an outfielder and being kind of like a speedy guy like myself.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of told him, I was like, every time that you step up in that box or you, for a pitcher, get on the mound, there should be zero doubt in your mind that you're going to beat whoever you're facing.
Oh, yeah.
Should be no doubt in your mind. And I think that's one thing that I've learned over the past 4 years is that whoever you're facing, they're playing the exact same game as you.
Oh, yeah.
It does not matter how old they are, how young they are. It doesn't matter how hard they throw. It doesn't matter how good of a hitter they are or were yesterday or in their last at bat.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have full confidence in yourself, because if you don't, then that's when you start to fail.
Yeah.
Constantly. And I think that's the one of the biggest things that I've seen over the past however many weeks, 8 weeks that we've had so far. I think guys are really starting to come in to themselves and really be confident on how they play the game.
Yeah, and I think that's starting to show on the field for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got for you. I really appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah.
I wish the best of luck to you and the rest of the team. Hope you guys continue swinging the way that you are and keep winning the way that we are.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Gabbin with Gavin. If you'd like to show your support to the Knights baseball team, you can check the schedule, see if they're home, and go down and support them. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great week.